who from a team perspective needs to get it done in week 1 of the college football season. Got a couple of teams for you here. Before we get to week 1, though, we respect, honor, and appreciate week 0 on this show. Some people turn their nose up at it and say, oh, week 0 isn't not really college football season. Really? College football games being played. They got a conference game, week 0 in Ireland. Farmageddon, Iowa State, Kansas State. That's a massive game. I don't really have a side here as to who needs to win week 1 there. But remember how that conference race came down to November in the last few weeks, and it's like, well, hey, if this team wins this game and this team loses that game, well, then it creates a tiebreaker scenario. Start yourself off with a lack of headaches in Ireland and just win the game week 0, whether you're Kansas State or Iowa State. That in itself would just do so much for you to say we handle business the first week of the season in a foreign country. We got it done. Awesome. Keep it pushing. That's high stakes for your first game of the college football season. In a conference that's madness, to have Iowa State roll out there replacing their 2 leading receivers, Kansas State rolling out there trying to get Avery Johnson back right in an offense that wasn't awesome throwing the football last year. Who can get right in Ireland? Will tell us a lot. Will be a lot of fun. High intensity, week 0. But in terms of week 1, man, I think Auburn, you got to win week 1 at Baylor. You have to. You have to. And the reason why I say that is the number that I think Auburn has to get to from a win total perspective is 8. At 8 wins, you're not thrilled. You're not throwing parades in the streets, but I think you are saying, all right, great. Check that box when it comes to actual progress under Hugh Freeze. And when you look at the schedule, here's how I see it breaking down for Auburn. You have 3 gimmies, all right? You got Ball State, you got South Alabama, you got Mercer. Now, we've seen people get got, but those are the 3 games you should win. You have 4 games from where I'm standing that you should feel pretty confident with your ability to win if you play your style of ball. All right, 4 games I would say you have a better roster. At Arkansas, if you don't give the football away 18 times, you win that game. Kentucky, you should win that game. At Vandy, I know Diego Pavia's got Hugh Freeze's number, but you are a better roster than Vandy. You should win that game. You want to get to 8, you got to beat Vandy. And then Missouri. I love Eli Drinkwitz. I think Bo Buehler's going to start. I think that Auburn, from a roster perspective, should win that game. Should's a funny word in college football, but from a talent level, you should feel like you have a chance to go win those games. There's 4 games now that I think are just kind of tough to bank on as wins. Missouri, you can maybe factor into this discussion, but I think outside of those 4 I just mentioned, these 4 to me are the toughest to bank on as wins. At Oklahoma beat you last year at your place, and they got better, so there's that. At A&M, I know you won that game a year ago, but it was overtime, and it was madness, and it was, I don't want to say fluky, but I would say there was some fortune involved there. Now you got to go to their place, and they got revenge on their mind. I'm just saying. Georgia and Alabama, those games speak for themselves. From a roster level, they're going to be more talented. So if you're breaking this thing down and you win the games I think you're supposed to win the games that you have a better roster, you're at 7. You want to get to 8, I think Baylor's the most winnable game of that group that I just mentioned. You could say Oklahoma, you could convince me on A&M. We talked about Missouri, but to me, the win against Baylor on the road to start the season, 1, you'd feel better about getting to 8 based on the roster math or the schedule math I just did for you. The other part of this, too, the confidence you would build from getting a win against a team that I have in the college football playoff. I think they have pretty reasonable playoff odds across the board, how strong they were a year ago, how they finished. You can win that game on the road on a Friday night to start your season. Confidence, it abounds. You're feeling good. And if you don't win that game, it's the flip side of that coin, and you're saying, okay, here we go now. All right, let's rally the troops here. Let's find a way to get it done. I'd love to start the 2025 season, the Jackson Arnold era, off with some confidence, because it's no secret. Confident teams are the ones that win football games, and capturing that early would be huge. Tennessee, they play Syracuse to start the year. You got to beat Syracuse, man. And Fran Brown is a program guy through and through. We are as pro Fran Brown as there is, I think, when it comes to a college football show nationally. Heck, I'll say even regionally. We might be more pro Fran Brown than some shows out there in upstate New York. I digress. Tennessee, if you want to send your fan base into an absolute frenzy, if you want the Nico situation to age like fine milk, lose that game in Atlanta. Lose that game and see what happens. Okay? And I know it's a double-digit point spread. I do not expect Tennessee to drop that game. But how crazy the offseason's been, how crazy the quarterback situation has been with getting Joey Aguilar post-spring, who I expect to be your starter, the opportunity cost of not winning that football game it would be heinous. It would be absolutely heinous on all fronts. Now, I expect them to win, but you got to win. Absolutely have to win. Miami and Notre Dame is going to be the Sunday matchup, as well as South Carolina Va-Tech. But Notre Dame, Miami is more impactful to me on this level. Notre Dame, I think, has to win this game. Has to win this game because they have 2 games to start in a 3-week stretch where you got to split it. If you go 0-2 to start the season, not saying that your college football playoff aspirations are dashed, but you feel a lot less confident in terms of finding your way in like you did a year ago when you lost to NIU. Like at that point, I think you're starting to whittle down the fingernails a little bit. You're biting those things on a weekly basis. I would hate the way that a loss against Miami, if I'm Notre Dame, would set up the A&M game because there's a lot of different pieces that would be moving to this, but the first part of it would be you got to come back home and I think play a team that's actually better than Miami in Texas A&M, and then you also play a team that's got revenge on their mind because you beat them in College Station. Like I don't love the way that shapes up. And oh by the way, you have your back against the wall at this point, 0-1. Potentially asking who your starting quarterback is with a whole week to think about it. I don't love the way that feels. So if you can beat Miami to start the year, get the vibes right, have confidence in your quarterback, come back home with some confidence, some momentum, some mojo, not have to ask the question of do we get in with 2 losses. Just stop that conversation in its tracks, start with a win. I think Notre Dame has got to win week 1. And the last one here, North Carolina plays TCU on a Monday night. I believe Herb Street's on the call for that one as well. If you think there's been buzz around North Carolina this offseason with Jordan Hudson saying we're not talking about that and everything that comes with the off-the-field Belichick stuff, go ahead and lose on national television the only college football game on that night on ESPN. Go ahead and try that on for size. Because if you think there's been buzz preseason, you have seen nothing yet. Josh Hoover throwing some dimes over North Carolina in Chapel Hill. It would not be good. It would not be good. North Carolina's ranked 81 in returning production. Translation, it's some new pieces that are trying to gel to begin with. Probably a new starting quarterback in Gio Lopez also via the portal for you. You lose week 1 if you're North Carolina, just the vibes in themselves would be, in a word, bad. In a metaphor, it's an uphill climb for North Carolina from that point forward. So those teams to me have got to win week 1. Week 0 is high stakes, conference matchup, Kansas State and Iowa State. But North Carolina, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Auburn, to me, you all have got to get it done week 1. Doesn't bury you if you don't get it done week 1, but it's, optically, metaphorically speaking, your path forward, just you got to get it done week 1. And if you don't, then it's not the way you want to go about the rest of your 2025. All right?